So the way this contraption works is, you can see I got some villages in here, and to be exact they are 150 in each of these devices, and every time this button gets pushed, any player who's in here, well, technically it also should launch. Yeah, let's try it with a pig. Yeah, I don't see the pig anymore, so it must be over here. Well, let's try that again. Well, it all obviously went somewhere, but yeah, didn't really test with any other mobs, just thought about the pig thing just now. Might try to launch a villager. And yeah, every time I push this button, the two pistons push whatever is in here to the very corner, like you do with the snowman and the snow golems and the snow machines. And these villagers are already pushed into that corner, and after a 5-tick delay this piston retracts. It's a sticky piston, so it pulls the block out. You fall down, and as soon as you get where the villagers are, demonstrate. Nope. Yeah, they don't like you. No. When mobs, when you get close to mobs, yeah, you push the mobs around, the mobs can push you around, and yeah, here's the villager we just launched. So works fine with anything taller than a pig, I guess. And so you can drop into things from above, but normally you get pushed away, so people and mobs don't walk through each other. Yeah, and the villages are a little taller than 2 blocks. Just a little bit, no, not true. The piston, you can stand in the gap between here, and yeah, then the villages can actually push you out. So any mob you get too close to pushes you away from itself, and if there are 150, they will actually push you more than 100 blocks from a 20 block drop. So the block the villagers are standing on is exactly 20 blocks above the ground. Well, the gap between the ground and the block is 19 blocks. So the block there is the 20th block, and this line of sandstone is 100 blocks. As you can see, I had another 10 here. This was another catch device, so you don't take damage from the fall when you're not in creative, but there's a little minor inconsistency with the falls, so the far, yeah, this is how far I went at the maximum, but I also had some tries where I stopped here. So if the pistons wouldn't push all of you over here, then there would be more inconsistency with your flight, and after you bumped into them, some of them will get pushed to the other side, so they have to be reset. And if I push the button, that's what happens last. As you can see, the signal continues and the villages get also reset. If I go in here again and then try again without resetting, yeah, that's just a little test over there, some kind of trap which tries to get on people's nerve who are trapped in there by playing the Nyan Cat theme constantly. There's still a lot of power behind the thing, but the last time we got pushed that far back that we could hear the theme. So the more villages are on this side, the less efficient the whole thing works. That's why they have to be reset every time. Yeah, the reason why I experimented with this kind of setup and what you could use it for, besides getting shot some 100 blocks diagonally. For example, if I had a floating island over there, and I didn't want to have any bridges nearby, I could, for example, use a mountain or build a tower up here, maybe to this height, and the floating island would have a little opening, or if it was an even higher tower, I could launch myself on top of the floating island. And yeah, the second device is just for the testing. If you could build a second one on the floating island, but you would have to get 150 villagers up there first. Of course, as we just saw, we can launch them. There it goes. But if you get a floating island, it's probably just smarter to have a quick drop underneath. Or, yeah, I know you could also use a nether portal, but I like to stay in the same dimension for traveling and not go to the nether. So I like this this method more than the Nether Portal one. And yeah, if you asking yourself how to get 150 villages in here, you simply make a water stream, and you fill the villages into the water stream. There are several methods you could do it. You could, for example, have villagers breeding in a controlled area where you can remove parts of the floor and pull villagers out of there, or several other methods of breeding villagers and adapting some of them so you got a constant supply of villagers. Well, how many villages you can use? This is 150 and it does not really affect my game. The reason it's 30 frames per second is I told Fraps to limit my frames per second while recording. So I usually have over 100 FPS. And when I tried using a lot more, I had an experiment where there were 500 villages in there and I was down to like 1 FPS. So depending on what's around you and how good your computer is, you can eventually go further than this, but I think 100 blocks diagonally is pretty good distance you could have from a tower to a floating structure. Yeah, you could also make a big tree, something like this in there. Yeah, so in case you watched this video and still want to know how the thing with getting in the villages legitimately works, and you've never ever seen a video where somebody mass breeds villages and puts them in some kind of machine or other villages, I might upload one if there are requests. But for now, this is it.